Sorry, wait, who are you?
I'm Captain America, bitch.
Boom, cut the check!
I thought Captain America was on the moon.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sons of Mjolnir. As always, I am one of your hosts, Fat Thor.
And I'm Cap.
And today, it's just going to be us two today. Gorgon is off saving the world, doing his thing. So me and Cap got together and we wanted to come and nerd out all about Captain America New World Order. So I know that we have a lot of time between now and that movie, and there's a lot of movies coming in between then. But we have the Captain America expert right here, and we've been talking about this behind the scenes for a while. So we thought, what perfect of an opportunity to come on and just nerd out about all things Captain America. So to kick us off, I feel like we kind of got to start where we left off. So I kind of want to start talking a little bit about Falcon and the Winter Soldier that came out on Disney Plus. Oh gosh, maybe 2 years ago now. I would say was it last year? Dude,
no, 2 years ago.
The pandemic has literally messed my entire framing of life completely up, so it's hard to remember. But I want to say it's been 2 years now since that dropped. So, I mean, I want to just get your quick thoughts on the series as a whole.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy to think about, right?
Yeah, because WandaVision was during the height of that. Like, what?
Yeah.
I think you're right. 2 years, holy shit.
I know, man. It's crazy. Time flies. But yeah, like I said, I want to get you as the Cap guy, as the Cap expert. I want your perspective on Falcon and Winter Soldier because, at least for me, this is just my personal opinion. I really liked the show. I thought there was a lot of great elements to it, but I can't lie in saying that it did feel like we were just talking about the show did come out during the pandemic, and not only during the pandemic, but like really the height of the pandemic. And there was a lot of things happening behind the scenes during that time. And if I'm being completely honest, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of those things hurt the show. Not saying that the show ended up bad. I just think that what they intended it to be was a little different than what we got, which, like I said, isn't necessarily a good or bad thing. But yeah, like I want to get your thoughts on it. What did you think of Captain America and Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I mean, he's Captain America now, but
I actually really liked it. Not gonna lie. The first episode that gripped me straight from the beginning. But like, obviously there was you could see the elements that they wanted to have and didn't have because of obviously COVID. But overall, I really enjoyed it. The Flag Smashers, like making them a group rather than a person, that was really interesting. I like that. John Walker, Wyatt Russell, or
Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, he played that really well.
Yeah, he's a great actor. And if we can go off on a little tangent about him just for a second, I really loved how the show introduced him as a character. And me and Gorgon were actually talking about this last night. So it's funny that you bring this up. But I was saying that I feel like with Walker, they're really setting him up to have a really good arc, like a character arc throughout the film. Like if they do decide to really bring him, I mean, we know he's coming back for Thunderbolts, but if they decide to really keep him around for even further projects, I think they've set him up to have a really cool character arc moving forward. And I think they did a really good job of setting this character up as someone that's like, excuse my language, but immediately you're like, fuck this guy. But I think that they did a good job in showing some little seeds and elements of like, yeah, it's fuck this guy, but there's something else here. You know what I mean? And like, there's something to explore with this character. And like we were talking about with Wyatt Russell being cast as Walker, to me, that just shows like there are plans for the character past, Thunderbolts. Like I think if it was going to be more of a one and done kind of character, just a kind of side villain, they wouldn't have cast someone like Wyatt Russell. Like he's not only a really good actor, but he's pretty hot right now. So if he's signing on for multiple pictures, it makes me think that they got a good arc in store for him.
Yeah. I know that was one of the things whenever Falcon and Winter Soldier dropped, beginning, I wasn't sure if he was just like a filler for the TV show, And then seeing Val come up to him at the end, I was like, "Oh, this guy's
Mm-hmm.
he's got a big role."
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. That was good. The only downside to Falcon and Winter Soldier is obviously the lack of Steve.
Yeah, I
That is
mean,
the killer.
yeah. But I also love too how they handled Steve in that show, because I think
Yeah,
going into it, especially people that are very how should I say, resistant to change, I guess you would say. I think a lot of people were very kind of hold back on the series, and they were very much like, okay, well, what happened to Steve? And they like wanted that answer specifically. So I really appreciated that the show, it didn't necessarily dodge the question, but it was like, yes, we'll acknowledge that, Steve is still around for sure, but this is not Steve's story. Like, this is Sam's story. And I think the show did a good job of, like, with the whole, oh, is he on the moon? Like, giving us the
yeah,
little, like, almost half joking kind of theories about Steve that we as the audience are already talking about. And like I said, I thought it was a smart way to do it, where they acknowledged him, they mentioned him, but at the end of the day, it's still Sam's story. And, we don't need to bring up Steve every time. You get what I mean?
yeah. I liked obviously my favorite thing about it was the secret moon base.
Like I said, that's still my
Yeah,
favorite theory. I would love, like, because we're gonna get the answer eventually, but I would love for the answer to be like he actually is on the moon. But like obviously, I don't know, working for Sword or she, whatever it is. But I think that would
yeah,
be really cool and funny to call that back and have him actually be on the moon, like secretly.
yeah. Uh,
And
that's
one thing I do have to bring up about the show, which has always been, I don't even want to say a problem for me, because again, like, me, I have faith in this kind of stuff, and it's like, if that's the choice that they made, I have faith that, further down the line it'll all come back together. But I can't talk about this and not bring up Sharon Carter as the power broker.
yeah,
That was the one thing in the show that really just took me for a loop. And it's not for, usual reasons that you'll probably see online of like, oh, well, she can't be the power broker because of this and that. Like, I don't really care that she's the power broker. Like, her being the power broker is cool, and I think it's a cool way to make her character interesting and have her have more to do in future films. I just personally think that the way that they did it in the show and the way they made the reveal just did not work for me. And again, to
yeah,
me, I've seen interviews and stuff saying that that was always the plan, like she was always planned to be the power broker. But again, I don't know, knowing what I know about the behind the scenes stuff, it really felt like to me that was something that was added in after the fact. And there were just some things in the show that to me, like I said, just did not, her being the power broker just didn't make sense. Like, for one
yeah,
example, not to go on a whole tangent, but just for one example, like when they find the scientist that's making the super soldier serum, it's
yes,
like, in my mind, if she was the power broker, why would she leave? Even if she's like having this guise of like, oh, like I'm just a, normal agent lady or whatever. Even if she was being like undercover, why would she lead Bucky and Sam to her number one scientist and then have them kill him? You get what I mean? Like, it just,
yeah,
in hindsight, once we figure out like what's going on in her role, to me, like I said, some of the things that she did earlier in the season doesn't really make sense to me. But again, like,
yeah.
I don't write the show, I'm not going to claim that I have a better understanding of this stuff. But again, I can't not be honest and, put my critical hat on for a second and say, like, to me, that reveal just didn't really work.
No, I get you. I there's a couple of reasons I don't really like it. One being the reason you said, and two being it's Sharon Carter, man. Come on, you know, like it's Steve Love. You
And I was gonna
don't
say,
do
so
him dirty like that.
you come at me with the comic knowledge now. So like, I know, like, I'm aware of Sharon Carter. Like, I've read multiple stories with her, but I wouldn't say like I'm expert on her character at all. So like you were saying, so how does that kind of conflict with Sharon from the books.
Just doesn't add up. Like Sharon's always get Steve's back. She's always looking to do. She's always looking to help Steve.
Mm-hmm.
It's her and Steve against the world, pretty much. There
Mm-hmm.
has been a few stories, the likes of Mark Wade's run in the 80s, late 80s. Sharon was a wee bit iffy, but at that time, Steve wasn't around. Like, Steve had only just come back from being out of the
Mm-hmm.
ice. So Sharon was still taking it pretty hard that Steve came back. So she was like on two sides. Is it Steve? Is it not Steve? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it just doesn't make sense. It's Steve and Sharon against the world, and now it's
Yeah,
Sharon against the good guys.
against everybody. Yeah. So yeah, like I said,
Yeah,
I wasn't really very knowledgeable about her stuff in the comics, but like you said, as I understood it, is like Sharon is, whether romantically or not, like that's Steve, one of Steve's right hands, like someone that's
yeah,
always a ally to him, always has his back. So again, to me, it seemed like again, I have no problem with her becoming the villain. Like I don't care that it's different from the comics. Like if they want to go that route, I'm completely fine with that. Like I said, just to me, the way that the show presented it, it was
yeah,
not a satisfying reveal. And I'm hoping that, with her appearances in further films, that will kind of settle it a little bit. But like I
yeah,
said, I that's really a very minor kind of nitpick. To me, ultimately, what the show was meant to do was introduce us to Sam as Captain America and work as a sort of kind of redemption for Bucky and the Winter Soldier. At least that's how I took it. And
yeah,
I think the show achieved both of those things. It solidified and gave us reason of why Sam is the new Captain America and why he deserves to be. And it gave Bucky like much needed character catharsis in kind of coming full
yeah,
circle to become, which I've been saying this. People have pushed back on me on this a little bit, but like he's the white, in my mind, he's the White Wolf now. He is no longer the Winter Soldier. Like the Winter Soldier is officially dead with that series, and now he is the White Wolf, and he can be an actual hero now, as opposed to a kind of anti-hero. And again, that's just the way I took it. I could be completely, you might feel differently out there, but that's what I felt the show achieved.
no, definitely, definitely, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the redemption arc was probably my favorite thing about the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I've always been a big fan of Bucky since Brubaker's run,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But seeing him go through the redemption arc live on screen as well, and Sebastian Stan plays him phenomenally.
Oh, he's so good. He's a great actor.
He's great. But seeing him finally get to become a hero he's always tried so hard to be,
Mm-hmm.
that's my shit, man.
Yeah, I
That
love
is
that the one scene, again, not to go too much into a tangent, but the one scene in that show, I think it's the last episode when Bucky he saves the people from like a burning car or something like that, and
yes.
the guy like grabs him and he's like, "Thank you so much," and like again, credit to Sebastian Stan and like how good of an actor he is, but he just like gets this look on his face of like realization, and like to me I read that as like that is the moment that he finally feels like a hero, like he sees that these people aren't afraid of him. Like usually even when he's trying to do good things, people are afraid of him and see him as this assassin and Winter Soldier, but this guy saw him as a hero and saw him as someone who saved his life. And again, just the reaction that he has to that, to me, again, that's like when the White Wolf is born and like he's finally able to put to rest the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's the moment he finally accepts himself.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, so good.
100%.
So good. But moving, so that's where we're kind of left in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I said, Bucky kind of gets his redemption. Sam Wilson becomes the new Captain America. What's it called? Walker is recruited by Val, and that's kind of again where we leave off, and that's gonna be where we kind of pick things up with this new Captain America New World Order. And so again, like we said, there's a lot of time between now and then before this movie comes out, so there's not a lot that we know, But there are a good little couple of nuggets here and there that we've been getting, and especially recently, Harrison Ford is in a new Apple TV
Yes.
show. I forget the name of it. It's like Short or something like that. And anyway, supposedly it's very good, so y'all should go check it out. But he's been making the rounds on interviews, TVs, and obviously people have been asking him about New World Order. So I thought it'd be, again, perfect time to talk about all this stuff. And just to kick it off, I guess let's just talk about some of the stuff that we do know about this movie. So we know, like we said, it is going to be starring Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, returning as Captain America. I haven't heard any word on if Sebastian Stan is going to be showing up as Bucky, but I wouldn't be very surprised if he does. But who are confirmed, and this is where we can kind of start getting into some nice, juicy little details. Who are confirmed to be coming is one that I think is very, very interesting, is Tim Blake Nelson. And if y'all remember him, he actually played Samuel Stearns in the original Hulk movie, the one with Edward Norton. And at the end of that movie, he gets a little Hulk blood on his cranium and he becomes a character known as the Leader. The Leader is a very big Hulk villain in the comics. He's gone up against Captain America, pretty much everybody. But he is confirmed to be back in this movie. I don't know if they've said that he will be the Leader, but he is playing the same character that he played in the Hulk. So to me, that makes my conspiracy mind just run wild. I think that's really
Yep.
cool that they're bringing him back, and I think that that's going to be a really cool element to throw into that movie. What do you think about him coming back?
To be fair, I wasn't expecting it. That he's probably the last person I would have expected to be cast.
Hmm.
Um, but I like it. It's different. Like a Hulk villain against Captain America. It's interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they do him. If they do him like full leader, or if he's recovering and he's,
Hmm.
I don't know, something to do with Walker and Super Soldier Serum, something like
Yeah.
that.
See, I'm thinking if, again, put my conspiracy hat on. So another person that we know is going to be in the film is Val. I forgive me, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce her full name in the movie. So she is confirmed to be back as well. And again, if I can put my conspiracy hat on, I would say that the best way that they can bring back the Leader is he's doing something for the CIA and specifically for Val. Like he's working in the shadows with her. And I don't know necessarily what it is they're working on. That we'll get into in a little bit here. But that would be my best guess, is that he's part of Val's crew in some form or fashion. And we learned in Wakanda Forever that Val is actually the new head of the CIA. So I'm thinking that we could see a very similar situation that we saw in Winter Soldier with the whole corruption of government and stuff like that. And while it may not be Hydra and like a complete government takeover, I think there are some still bad seeds in high places that I think Sam is going to have to uh, encounter on this, new adventure.
Yeah, it's as the saying goes, cut off one head and two more shall replace it.
And more take its place, exactly.
Yeah,
And another person returning, which again gets my conspiracy mind racing, is Carl Lumbly, who is going to be returning as Isaiah Bradley, who we met for the first time in Falcon and
yes.
Winter Soldier. For those of you out there who don't know, Isaiah Bradley was another Captain America. In the books, he was active during the Korean War, I want to say, but
World War Two.
oh, World War II. But in the show, he was active during the Korean War, I think. That was the change that they made. But yeah, he was another super soldier that got the super soldier serum and acted as a Captain America for a time. But since the country is shit, for lack of a better term, it was brushed under the rug and no one really knew about it. And again, we learn a little bit about this in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but he is set to return in New World Order, which makes me super, super excited because Isaiah is probably one of my favorite Cap characters. And I think his whole, what's the book called? Cap,
Frith,
refresh
red,
me.
white, and black.
Yep. Truth, Red, White, and Black. Everybody go pick that up. It's, again, I'm not the Cap expert here, but it's one of my personal favorite Cap stories. It's just really, really
It's a
good.
very good story.
Yeah,
Very, very good story.
it's great. And the fact that he's coming back, I think, is very, very exciting. I'm hoping that we'll maybe get some more flashback stuff with him
Hopefully.
during like his active time. I think that, I mean, Carl Lumbly is not a he's not a very old guy. Like, they made him look old in the show. So it would be very easy to just take the prosthetics off and he could just be himself, but it'll be a young Isaiah.
I genuinely thought he was an older man, to be fair.
Yeah, he's not like, he's not 19 years old, but you get what I mean.
Well,
He's not as old as they made him look in the show. So, like I said, I think that's a great opportunity to give us some early Isaiah stuff. I
yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, like we talked about, it's going to be Sam's movie, so I'm not expecting like a whole hour-long Isaiah trip, which obviously I would love.
That'd be amazing. That'd be
But
amazing.
maybe just a little flash, a little flash scene. I think it would be really, really cool.
Yeah. I want, ugh, like you said, it can't be an hour long flashback, but I want a full blown flashback. I want to see what happened, how it happened.
I've
Um,
always really liked, I'm not the originator of this theory, but I really like this one, is that Isaiah is actually the Captain America that the Red Guardian fought back in the day. Like, remember in Black Widow when he's like, "Oh,
yes.
I fought Captain America," and blah blah. And they were like, "He was in the ice." Like, that's bullshit. I've always liked the theory that he's talking about Isaiah and he just doesn't know. Like, he has no idea that there was like two of them. So like when he's like, "Yeah, that's Captain America. What do you mean?" I think that would be really cool and funny.
I haven't heard that theory, but I quite like it.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yeah, so I think it would be cool. And it, like we were talking about before, Thunderbolts is coming very soon after New World Order. So that could be like a little funny joke kind of thing to also lead into the Thunderbolts, because as we
Yeah,
know, Red
because
Guardian's going to be in there.
Bucky also fought Isaiah whenever he was the Winter Soldier.
hmm So that's easy
Yeah,
opportunity to bring that up. I think that would be really
yeah,
cool.
that'd be two of the Thunderbolts that got their ass handed to them by Isaiah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what
That'd
I
be an
mean. Like,
interesting topic.
to him, that's cat. Like, not he might be aware of Steve Rogers, but like again, like in his mind, like he's a Russian, what's it called, super soldier. So it makes sense to me that he wouldn't be like super aware of what America's doing. So it's like during
Yeah,
his time as Red Guardian, that's who Captain America was. So he never even questioned it.
yeah, he still has a point. He still fought Captain America.
Exactly, he did. But moving on a little bit, we could do a whole episode on Isaiah, which we should, by the way. I'm putting
We
that on
should
the
and we will.
Yeah,
We
I'm putting
will.
that on the schedule right now. But another character, so this is where you're really going to have to school me on some knowledge, take me to class here. So another character that's confirmed, I didn't see the actress playing her. I think they have an actress, but Sabra, character Sabra, am I saying that correctly?
I think so.
So she is also confirmed to be making her Marvel debut, if you will, in this film. And this is a character that I know absolutely nothing about. But I know that there's a little controversy going around with it. So I don't know if you know anything about the controversy, but besides that, can you give us a little insight of who is Sabra? What does she have to do with all this?
Um, Sabra is or was um is really Mossad agent. So like they're, as far as I'm aware, they're like Israel's version of the CIA. Um, she was an Israeli Mossad agent, and was it the 80s? I think they retconned it in more recent years, but as far as I'm aware, she was an Israeli Mossad agent, and that's where the controversy
Mm-hmm.
stems from.
But her as a
Um,
but her character, so like is she, I'm guessing villain? Am I right to say that? Or like anti-hero more? What's her deal?
I'd say more anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, because like in her eyes, she's doing right. She does right, but in like the grander scheme, it's not exactly right.
Yeah, like the right goal, just not the right way to go about it, would you say? like a noble goal, but just kind of murky ways of achieving it?
I more or less because it's a bit like John Walker. It's like
Hmm.
he does for the betterment of America per se, but how he does it is not how it should
Yeah.
be done.
Yeah. Okay. So you
You
would
know,
so you would kind of compare her to almost like a Walker sort of character then, huh?
that's where it gets sticky because
Yeah.
like the last thing I read with her was an EA story. So recent years, it's completely out of my wheelhouse.
Hmm.
But from then, I would say yeah.
Okay. So is she, like you said, anti-hero? So is she usually, from the stories of like with Cap that you've read, is she usually like at odds with Cap, like begrudgingly partners kind of thing, or?
No, I wouldn't say partners per se, but not exactly. Like they don't see eye to eye, so I put them against each other.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
the same, it's a difficult one.
Hmm. Well, based off
Um,
what you know, can you kind of speculate at all what her role could be in this film? Like knowing what you know of the character and what we know of, where Captain America is right now, can you see where she might have a role to play? Or is it just like I have no idea, but she's coming.
no, I think she's going to be put against Captain America. I'm going 65% sure on that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I can see her being not an enemy to Cap, but a pain in the hole
Definitely
to
an
sum it up.
antagonist.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay, okay. And
That's
then
as far as I can see.
yeah, like I said, I know nothing about her. I saw people talking about it. Like again, we don't really know much of this movie, and that's one of the few other things that has been, released about the movie is that she's making her debut. So, I got to ask your input on all that.
Yeah, like my knowledge isn't perfect on it. It's
Mhm.
not great, but I can give you what little crumbs I have.
I'll say, hey, that's still more than I know. So, for everyone out there, at least you got a little bit of knowledge from us. But
Yep.
also not return I guess returning, not returning. It's weird, kind of weird situation. But Thaddeus Ross is gonna also be returning. Unfortunately, forgive me, the actor's name is escaping me, but fortunately,
William
we
Hurt.
yes, William Hurt. Thank you, Cap. We unfortunately lost William Hurt earlier this year, who has played Thaddeus in what I want to say like maybe 3 or 4 Marvel movies. I mean, he made his debut in that Hulk movie that we're talking about with Edward Norton. So he's been part of the MCU since the very beginning. So very, very sad that we lost him. I really loved his role as Thaddeus. But when one door, closes, another one opens, if you would. And now we have Harrison Ford is actually coming in and taking up the role of Thaddeus. And like I said, we will all miss William Hurt. Rest in peace. It's very sad. But if we could have anyone come in and take the role of Thaddeus Ross, I mean, I don't think we could have got a better person than Harrison. I mean, come on now. Han
No,
Solo himself as freaking Thaddeus Daddy Ross. Come on.
my money would have been on uh what do you call him again? Your man, Han Solo. What? It's
Harrison
just
Ford?
slipped me. Harrison Ford. I would have said him or Clint Eastwood. Those were,
Yeah, Clint Eastwood would be good too. I like that.
yeah.
But no, I
Um,
mean Harrison, he's gonna do a great job. I'm excited, and not only that, but this again is like I don't know if it's confirmed, and this is either something that's been confirmed or it's just people know his character from the comics and are just talking shit. But I think that it's confirmed that he will be the Red Hulk in this movie. So a
that's
lot
what
of us.
that's what um that's what I was going to say actually, because
Mhm,
like that could be what Stern's whole role is. Like
mhm,
Ross could go to him knowing that he knows stuff about Hulk's DNA. That's how he
mhm.
becomes Red Hulk.
Well, and I 100% agree with you, and that ties into kind of what I was saying earlier. Is he's that's what I think his role probably is in the CIA, is the super soldier guy. You know what I mean? Well, we were talking about it earlier. The other scientist that was, an expert, if you would, in the super soldier serum was killed in Falcon and Winter Soldier. And
Yeah.
as far as I know, and again, you can correct me on this, super soldier serum, that's not like your average scientist can't just do that. Like there is maybe a
No.
handful of people, if even a handful, that understand and or could even attempt at making a super soldier serum work. And I think Stern is probably one of the only people left that has an understanding of gamma and like how gamma works with the blood and all that in order to create some kind of serum. Again, do you think I'm off base with that, or?
No, I think you're right. I'd agree with you. Um, like obviously, there's not many scientists out there that would know how to recreate the super soldier serum. Otherwise, super soldiers be running about everywhere.
Mhm.
But like, obviously, there's Russian ones, the likes of Red Guardian, Winter Soldier,
Mhm.
all those, and then obviously America's going to have their own. And like you say, Stern could be one of those CIA
Mhm.
agents that America have recruited to do that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people too don't. I mean, people who don't read comics probably don't know this, but even people that read comics, I think a lot of people forget that that's the whole basis of why Bruce Banner was working with Gamma, and or, the Hulk situation even came about, was because they were trying to recreate the super soldier serum. Like that was their goal. And it obviously resulted very badly and turned, Banner into this green monster, but that was their original goal, was to recreate the super soldier serum. So again, I think bringing in Samuel Stern, someone with intimate knowledge of gamma and how gamma reacts to, someone's DNA, I think he, again, the perfect person to bring in to try and make another super soldier serum, which again we know from the books is that's Thaddeus's whole game. Like that's literally his like whole ethos of a character, is to counteract the Hulk and, what I mean, make his own super soldier that can, combat things like the Hulk and stuff. Again, another character that, his goals may be justified, but the way he goes about them are very, very murky.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it'll be interesting to see if he like references an encounter with Bruce after so many years.
Hmm.
Because obviously Bruce knows he's the one, has a sample of his DNA. He's not going to want that floating about. So I wonder if Bruce maybe even went to him like so long after the Incredible Hulk. It's like, here, man, go and get rid of that.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that has to do with, for those of you out there who don't know, there's a huge thing with Universal actually owns the rights to Hulk. So
Yeah,
that's why we haven't had another Hulk solo movie, and why Hulk's story is mainly told with these ensemble movies like Avengers Age of Ultron, Thor Ragnarok. So I think if they were allowed to do like another Hulk movie, we would get a lot more of those kind of answers, like you're saying, Cap, and
yeah,
we would have that, like, I guess, reunion, if you would, of Bruce Banner and Thaddeus. But yeah, I always thought that was a little weird because that's like one of Hulk's main villains, or I guess you could say antagonist, is not even Red Hulk, but Thaddeus Ross as the Man.
yeah,
So yeah, I would really love to see, like I said, obviously it will be Harrison Ford now, but I would love to see Banner be referenced, or them. I don't expect Banner to show up in this New World Order movie, but if they got someone like Harrison Ford to play him, that tells me that he is not a one and done. Like he's gonna be in a
no.
couple things.
Yeah, it's not even that, but like, I can't even because it's Harrison Ford. I can't see it being a quick three minute scene here. I think he's going to be a main character.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
You
think so.
can't hire someone that big and give them 3 minutes.
Hmm. I will say though, I don't think we're gonna get him in a lot of projects, if that makes sense. Like
No, I get
I
that. I
think
get
I
that.
think he'll be the main antagonist of New World Order, and we might see him pop up in the Thunderbolts. But I think his outing as Red Hulk will be a one and done. That's my
Yeah.
that's my prediction.
No, I'd agree too.
Hmm.
Um, then again, like, what if he Red Hulk's in Captain America and this is a one and done film?
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know?
I absolutely could. The only reason I say maybe not one and done completely is I feel like there's no way he's not showing up in Thunderbolts. Not as not
Yeah.
as not
Well,
as the Red Hulk. I don't think he'll be the Red Hulk in that movie, but even just as an
a background
overseer,
character.
yeah, like
Yeah.
he's got to be involved with the Thunderbolts in some form or fashion. And that also reminds me, I'm almost positive our Eagle Eye fans out there will have to go back and rewatch for us. But I'm almost 100% positive in one of the opening credits of Falcon and Winter Soldier, we see a document saying how Thaddeus Ross is the director and like head of Super Soldier, some kind of Super Soldier I mean, faction of the government. Like he's in control of this. It was like on one of in the beginning they had like the files go across the screen and whatnot.
Yes.
So like
Uh,
it's one of those said like Thaddeus is the head of Super Soldier, whatever they call it in the show. But I can't see that not coming back into play, like I said, especially for Thunderbolts.
um, it'd be interesting to see like how Thunderbolt takes place. Like obviously Thunderbolts is after Captain America, so it'll be
Hmm.
interesting to see how the two like link up.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, okay. That kind of that there's a perfect segue, Cap, for my again tinfoil hat crazy theory that I kind of alluded to earlier. So this is again, you can come in and with the comic knowledge completely tell me I'm an idiot, but this is where I think it's going. My best guess, if I had to guess for both New World Order and the Thunderbolts, I'm thinking that a lot of this is coming down to vibranium, and vibranium is going to play a huge role in what's going on. And I think in New World Order, that's going to be, I don't necessarily know exactly what's going on, but I think that's going to be the issue that Sam Wilson Cap is going to have to deal with is America and Wakanda and the rife that is building between the two nations over vibranium. For anybody out there who hasn't seen Wakanda Forever, I won't spoil too much, but Val, who we've been talking about, is in that movie and makes very, very big points about acquiring vibranium and the thought of what would America be like if we had vibranium. And I really think that's what they're setting up. And for a Captain America movie, to me, it has to have some kind of political conflict, right? Like, I mean, the title of the movie is called New World Order. So to me, that means that there's going to be some sort of political strife that Sam Wilson, Captain America, is going to have to face. So, like I said, I think that's going to be vibranium, and that's going to lead into Thunderbolts, where the Thunderbolts are going to have to steal vibranium, something along those lines, because like I said, Val wants that vibranium, and that's how I think this is all going to tie together, and that's how Thaddeus fits into this. That's how the leader fits into this. That's their goal is to get the government behind them in order to take vibranium. And then like the rest of the government, America is going to be like, yeah, like let's do it. And Sam is going to have to step in and be that, what does he say? The tree that doesn't move, what this Cap's famous
Yes.
line. Yeah, he's going to
Yeah.
have to be the one to be like, this is crazy, like this is not what we should be standing for, when everyone else is going to be like, yeah, let's freaking do this.
No, I agree. I see I could go off on a whole big massive conspiracy, like it's just touching on other films and
Bro, let's do it, man. But this is the place to do it.
right. So obviously adding on to everything you said, like what if that is how so vibranium Val and the Thunderbolts are searching for vibranium Talokans and Wakandans are fighting over vibranium. So what if like instead of vibranium, like Val Val and the Thunderbolts then like come across this other thing that has like vibranium qualities, and that's how they get adamantium, and that's how like what if they like have like
Dude.
I don't know some
Yes.
like some like
Yes.
satellite and it picks it up and like they see it moving, they're like, oh, they're shipping it, so they go to find it, and it's
Mhm.
Wolverine just standing there.
Dude.
It's
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that also, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
again, that's not happening in Captain America. It's just over the span of a couple of films.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, and that also brings me to another thing that I've heard. Again, I don't know where this theory originated. This isn't my original theory, but another one that I really like, and that goes on to exactly what you're saying, is that Tiamat. So Tiamat, the celestial that emerged from the earth in Eternals. For anyone who didn't catch that one, at the
Yep.
end of the movie, a giant celestial comes out of the earth, and Cersei, one of the Eternals, which turns it into what we all thought was a sort of like marble or like a stone. But I have heard rumors and I've heard people talking that that could be, it's not marble. What if that was adamantium? What if she turned
Interesting.
Tiamat into adamantium, and then like basically the same concept what we were just talking about with the Thunderbolts and Val and them trying to acquire vibranium, but instead substitute adamantium for vibranium, and they're going after Tiamat to harvest this new metal that it's made of. Because we learn in the Eternals, they make a very big point that that's basically what Cersei's powers are, is that she can transmutate any kind of material. So, like she says in the movie, I can turn a rock into water, I can turn a water into a rock, shit like that. So, when she was powered by the Unimind, it's completely reasonable for me that that created this new kind of element. You know what I mean? Like she transfigured it, and again, you got to think this is a celestial too. I mean, what the heck is a celestial made out of? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that whole process of transmutation, it had to have been something a little weirder than, like you said, our regular like marble or something. So I thought that was a really interesting thought and a cool way, because everyone ever since that movie has come out, everyone's like, well, when are they going to talk about the celestial? When are they going to bring
Yeah.
up the celestial? Like, okay, that's a perfect way to bring it up, and that's a perfect way to bring that back into play, and like, okay, that's why this happened.
That like because obviously Eternals have been about since years and
Ever.
years and
The
years. Yeah.
beginning of everything.
But what if like obviously no one's gonna like the idea of Logan just appearing now in the MCU for the first time ever. Like that's how he gets his adamantium. So what if
Mhm.
like she got the inspiration for adamantium from Logan? She knew how tough the material was, and
Definitely
that's what gave her the
possible.
inspiration to turn it into him, or
Hmm.
turn Tiamat into it.
Yeah, I
You know?
mean that's 100% possible. Like you said, they were around for everything, every major thing, and especially something like World. I mean, we saw in the Eternals movie they were there for the A bomb going off, like all So World War II would for sure be an event that they had their hands in. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely.
I like that a lot. Like I said, I think I like the adamantium angle. The only thing about it is they would have, like, kind of what we're talking about right here. They would have to do some legwork in order for it to make sense. Because I think it
Yeah,
would be very underwhelming for everybody if it was just like, oh yeah, we found this new metal, we should call it animantium. Like that'd be kind of lame. Like I
yeah,
think there needs to be a little bit of footwork. Like I said, I think if Tiamat ended up being made of adamantium, like that's a cool way to bring it in. It's not just like, oh, it's just here and we just didn't know about it until now. I think we're gonna need some kind of explanation of like, why have we not heard of this before, or like where has it been. And I think if
yeah.
they find a good explanation for that, then I'm all for it. But like I said, and like you said too, having It's like, oh, like Wolverine just pops up and is like, oh, hey, he's got these weird metal claws. Like that would be kind of lame, you know?
Yeah. Like, oh, is that vibranium?
Like,
I don't know, man.
no, it's
I'm just
not.
here.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a little legwork we got to do before we get adamantium. But like I said, I mean, what we're talking about, I think those are great ways to bring it in and bring in a new kind of, again, we're talking, I think it's impossible that they're not setting up this kind of Wakandan USA conflict. And I think the introduction to adamantium, kind of going along the same lines, that would be another really good reason for Wakanda, Tolakan, and the US to be at odds with each other. Because what if America now has adamantium and they have like a response to vibranium? You get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
That in itself causes rift, and that threatens Wakanda, even if they don't plan on using it for bad things. Just them having access to something like that could be seen as a declaration of war, like kind of in what was it, the first Avengers movie, when Nick Fury explains, like, yeah, when Thor came down, like we knew we were massively unprepared and we had to come up with an answer for that, and
yeah,
kind of the same concept.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Hell
I
yeah.
I like the idea of adamantium being like a response to vibranium.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's an interesting. That's some outside the box thinking there. I like that.
Yeah, I mean that's how I would play it. Again, I'm not a movie writer. I don't work for these people, but if I was in the room,
Not
that's
yet.
kind of how I would play it. Again, you got to have a conflict, you know what I mean? There's got to be
Yeah,
something that forces, like, cuz we saw in Wakanda Forever that the relationship between the US and Wakanda is not very stable to begin with. So I think
yeah,
like there needs to be some kind of catalyst that really just breaks the dam, and it's just like they're already mistrusting of each other. They're already, we see Val is making moves behind the scenes to, try and do things underneath Wakanda's radar. So again, I think the US discovering their own super metal, that would be, again, the perfect catalyst to really start that conflict off. And again, a perfect thing for someone like Captain America to have to resolve.
it'd be great if it was Ireland that found it.
Yeah, right, dude. We need some Ireland representation, bro.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, for
let's just
sure, man.
get Barry Cogan, right? Is that how you say his name? From
Yes, I
Druig from
think so.
Eternals, bro.
Yes,
Let's just put him in every MCU movie moving forward, and we'll be good.
yeah,
Yeah, that man is
yeah,
good.
exactly.
I love
He
that
is good.
guy. He is super good.
He played a real good Joker as well. Like from the
Hmm.
deleted scene,
Yeah, from the
that
like
was
two
pretty good.
seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really on my radar until Eternals, and everyone out there knows that I'm an Eternals fanboy. But man, I really like, he was probably the performance of the movie that surprised me the most. Like, I really
yeah,
loved Druig. And if anybody out there who has read Eternal comics and knows Druig from the comics, he is complete, like he was able to make that character an actual like three-dimensional character. In the books, Druig is very much just a dickhead. Like he is just a
yeah,
douchebag who's always trying to ruin the Eternals plan. Like he's kind of a villain within the Eternals, and he's just always like your classic like bad guy, like meh, like screw you Eternals kind of, kind of
yeah,
character.
yeah. He made the character very compelling.
Hmm. Yeah. So like I
That
said,
was
put him in New World Order, put him in Thunderbolts, put him in
yes,
everything.
exactly. Like, let's get him petition.
That's really all we know. That's really all we can speculate at this point based off what we know from, like I said, all the things that we've been talking about. But other than that, can we just, before we get out of here, I just want, as the Cap guy, how excited are you for Sam's first? I mean, it's not his first outing. We have, the show, obviously, which is great, but first film, feature film, Sam Wilson, Captain America. How good does it feel?
10 out of 10.
10 out of
Easily
10.
10 out of 10.
Dude,
And
right?
Anthony Mackie too. He is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't think there's anyone better to play the character, and I don't think there's anyone better to take up a mantle of Cap. So that's a win-win.
Yeah, like fiction and real life meeting. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's perfect for the role. Sam, the character, is perfect for the mantle, and it's gonna be so great. And I gotta say too, also, besides how great of a character he is, that suit. Oh, that suit is just so crispy. Woo!
It's tight.
Dude. I think one of my
nice.
favorite MCU suits, to be honest. Like it just looks so good.
And the wings too, man. The wings are fucking perfect.
Like the wings, and this might sound really stupid, especially for like people who know more about like costume design, but like the color, I know it's like it's red, white, and blue, so it's like how more basic can you get? But dude, the whites on the blues, like they are just so vibrant, and it just looks so good. Like literally jumped off the page and like onto the screen. Like it's just, his suit is so good.
They brought their A game for that one.
Dude, A, B, and C game, like really good. Yeah, I love his suit. I'm excited to see more of him just in that suit, because it works so well.
And it's so slick.
And like you said, the wings too, like chef's kiss. Whoever was the costume designer on that, like, you need a raise.
I'm looking forward to seeing Torres in his suit as well. I hope they do something with him as Falcon.
I'm excited for that too. I don't think they're gonna go this crazy with it, but I mean, a man can dream. I hope they turn him into a Falcon mutant guy. I know it's goofy, but it's like, it's cool. Come on, it'll be cool.
Yeah, we need that. We need that. Comic accuracy.
I say comic accuracy over everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's really all we got for you guys today. We just wanted to nerd out about Captain America for a while. Thank you all for joining us as always. May all your stacks be fat. Stay hydrated out there, and we will catch you guys next time.
It's been wonderful, guys.
Been like this all day.